DJ Mike C on the track.
Cause that be natural.
Lady D.
Ain't looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm so nappy. Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
Ain't looking tacky. Cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so fabu, I'm so nappy, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo, fucking these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Y'all is cheering on that cartoon. Hey guys, and welcome back to Airfros And Babyhairs, and thank you for joining me for another chat session. Today we will be discussing the Monique interview that she did on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, as well as, play one of the responses that DL Hughley did soon thereafter. So go ahead and grab a snack and a beverage while we get it popping. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button to help us grow, and be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, how's everyone doing? I hope all is well. Me, I'm doing okay. Just feeling a little confused after hearing that interview. I just don't really know how to feel. Like, should we stand with her or fall back? I just feel like there were several contradictions, and to say she isn't problematic is an understatement, because in her story, she tells us exactly how problematic she was and is. So I'm a bit confused, but let's get into it. So she started off the interview by being messy, bringing up the Skip Bayless situation, claims she doesn't condone violence, and this is at the very beginning of the interview where she was telling, pretty much saying to Shannon that he should have, knocked that dude out. And then it was her husband who had to tell her Shannon handled that correctly. So at the very beginning, we find out that she be on demon time sometimes. So that's what it was given for me at the very beginning of the interview. Then she went into giving Oprah her props, saying that Oprah was basically like a role model and gave her the push to pursue her greatness and her dreams. And then she went on to let us know how messy she was and how she was a snitch starting in high school. And with that little story that she gave on that, I can't say that I agree with her snitching on old girl about the baby, because I think people need to stand in their own truth when they feel it's the right time. Also, how would she have felt if the guy ended up doing something crazy to that girl and her baby, all because Monique had no filter? You get what I'm saying? I also feel like it's a matter of, where does your loyalty lie? Was it with the guy or the chick? Because it's like she couldn't wait to go spill that tea. However, Monique let it be known that she was messy from high school and she's a rat that can't hold water. However, the girl is wrong for fooling the boy about the baby, but Monique, she isn't wrong for singing like a bird. Whatever happened to loyalty among thieves? How about the both of them are wrong, but Monique is out of pocket? She claims she's staying on right though. So I'm just saying, it's like the girl was wrong, but I also think Monique was wrong, but you stand on right. So how you don't see that you were wrong in that situation? So it's like, what if Monique didn't know the entirety of that girl's situation? She kept mentioning they were young, they were 19 in 11th grade. But what if the girl really didn't know who the father was between two different boys? But come to find out, the dude Monique ratted to ended up truly being the dad after the DNA test. Because y'all was young, y'all don't know what y'all was doing. But what if that dude that Monique went and ratted to was actually the baby father for real? And that girl might have just been saying some stuff because she probably was messing with this boy and that boy. And then, you get what I'm saying? So anyway, then when Shannon asked her about the relationship with the girl, it was like Monique kind of like skirted around, you know, answering that question. And it made me think maybe she had been interested in the dude. So the tea was, she was spilling this tea for her own ulterior motive. I'm just speculating though, but Monique sounds shady by her very own account, and it's no shade. It's like, why didn't you want to go into detail about this situation a little bit further instead of just blaming it on the fact that you was 19? 19 people kind of know what they doing. They know who their friends are. They know who's not. You get what I'm saying? And the way that she explained later on how she was, you know, getting all these men. So it's like, why was you so pressed to tell this dude this about your homegirl? And if she your homegirl, why was you trying to spill her tea anyway? I feel like people need to handle their own business in their own time, because that's how people end up getting hurt. So I don't agree with it. So moving on, she said, when we know something is wrong and we all know it to be true, we get caught up in saying, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Then she said we get caught up in the messenger and miss the message. Then she said she got to a place where she wanted to be free. She doesn't want to live in a space where she is intimidated, scared, or fearful about what's gonna happen, what they gonna say, what they gonna do. If it's your story and it's the truth, tell it, because that will prevent it from happening again to someone else. So what is like, my question is, what is she saying is true? Then what if, so my question is, if what she's saying is true, then why 4 years later, after she went on this whole tour telling us what Oprah did, Lee Daniels did, Tyler Perry did, Netflix did, we still have Taraji here going through the same thing? So ultimately, whatever Monique called herself doing for that 4 years straight, now based on her, it was 10 years, but ultimately it didn't prevent anything, because now 4 years later you have Taraji still being faced with these same things. So you fighting back, clapping back, boycotting, doing all this stuff didn't do anything to help nobody coming behind you, in my opinion. Then it's like, why wait to speak up if it's been going on your entire career? You tolerate the mistreatment in the industry from the white execs to then come into spaces where blacks are building to rat them out. So I'm confused. It's like when you was doing the Parkers, Moesha show, all of that, they did all of these different things to you and you said nothing. But now that you're working under Tyler, you know, Oprah, Lee Daniels, you want to rat them out. So how is that helping our community? It's like, you know what I'm saying? And we don't even know really what you're saying is true. We can only go by what you're saying, because I haven't heard Oprah say anything, and I haven't heard a recording about Tyler, and we're going to get into that too. But all of this was done in private, whatever you're talking about. So we didn't know anything about that. All we know, in which these people are not my heroes, but all I know, these people look just like you, and these are the ones y'all want to blast. You get what I'm saying? So then after that, she admitted to being in special ed classes. She felt disconnected in history, but that doesn't explain the struggle in other subjects. But okay, like she was saying, she couldn't connect with the history being taught and how they were putting white people up on the pedestal and black people were always, you know, at the bottom of the barrel, which I understand. But what does that say in regards to other subjects? Like, I get that for history, but what about math? What about spelling? What about, you get what I'm saying? Like, anyway, Then she goes into the family dynamic. Now, the family dynamic now is, why should I stay somewhere I have to suffer? So that's what she's saying about the family now. Why should I stay somewhere I have to suffer? Seems like she isn't in relationship to her family, probably because she is messy and spilling family business. But I digress. I agree with what she said in regards to Shannon asking her that it couldn't been that bad if you made it to this point. When she responded, coming in, and her eyes was, her eyes was wide open. She had made it, and then later learned the business. My thing though, if she learned the business and started seeing it was shady, why didn't she bow out? Why did she fight so hard to stay in such a corrupt environment, especially after just quoting the statement, why should I stay somewhere I have to suffer? You would think that that would apply in all areas, but not in her case, I guess. It's like, if you are using that quote, why should I stay somewhere I have to suffer? Well, by what you're saying now is you've been suffering your whole career, whether you've been working with the white execs or black, because the way that you was talking, you've been getting paid the same amount, no matter which role that you play. Has always been in the 55K range. So at the beginning and up till now. So anyway, she said Taraji told her in the dressing room, you got to keep on getting it until your turn comes. So to me, once again, you telling other people business and what they told you in confidence. So Taraji got sympathy because she doesn't have a man and she's not fat and black. So Monique responds to, why are they listening to Taraji, and nobody wanted to hear her when she was going on her, hate tour towards Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler. So now she's saying the only reason why they listening to Taraji is because Taraji ain't got no man standing beside her, and she's not fat and black. So it's the messenger, not the message. And then it says, why does she think Tyler and Oprah are the black community's heroes? Like I said, I don't look at them as no hero or anything like that. I just look at them as people of color who are trying to, have a piece of the pie. And I feel like they have learned from these white execs on how to run things, and they kind of doing the same thing. It's like you learn from the ones who have already been here doing it. So I feel like Oprah and Tyler are not doing anything different than what these white execs do. But they're being called out when you haven't called out now one white exec name. However, you had problems with white execs in the past, and we still haven't heard you call out their name. When you was on the Parkers and the Moesha show. So whatever. Now, I do agree that her husband should have her back, but some of these execs want to talk to the talent and not their help. But that's understandable. You get what I'm saying? I agree that her husband need to be there to have her back in case these men try to get grimy. But she also said, which we're going to get into later on, that her husband is the one who calms her down. So that may be the reason why they like, we don't want your husband to come. We want you to be your full self. And once again, sometimes these execs just want to talk to the talent. They don't want to talk to your assistant. They don't want to talk to your help. They want to talk to you. So that may be why Tyler keeps saying, I just want to speak to you. I want to have a meeting with you, not your you and your husband. This is between us. So I kind of get it, but I get it from both sides. Then she says it's for the little girls coming behind her. She doesn't want them to see her broken because of the industry. Yet Taraji has come behind her broken, and if they keep on, there are not going to be any little girls following. Hence, they are getting black people from overseas to come pretend to be black American and take these roles. So I'm just saying, it's like you saying you don't want to let the little black girls see you going up against all of these heavy hitters in the business. But you could be hindering them from wanting to even get into business based on what you're going on this tour about. You get what I'm saying? And now Taraji has come forward and a few other ones have come forward. So it's almost like we don't even have to use black actors from America no more. We can just go get them from overseas and, train them on how to sound American. And we can just use them, because I've been hearing a lot about that lately. She said we need to start taking things for what they are and get out of our emotions when we will be further along. She said we need to start taking things for what they are and get out of our emotions. We will be further along. However, she sat in that basement with her husband for 4 years in the dark, gray hair and all, and was an emotional mess, talking about Lee Daniels, Oprah, and Tyler day in and day out. See, that's what I'm talking about. You telling us now, after you went through this whole 10-year period, and I know for 4 years you and your husband sat in that basement and you was all in your emotions. You didn't care how you look, you didn't care how your hair looked, but now you telling us we need to get out of our emotions? Well, why didn't you take your own advice? You would have been further along instead of sitting in that basement crying over spilled milk. Now, she brought up during the Color Purple promotion that Taraji and Oprah had tension. Then Taraji supposedly wrote Oprah a love letter. In other words, Taraji didn't stand on business and keep her foot on Oprah's neck. Once again, Monique is being messy. Why does she have a problem with Taraji and Oprah handling their differences behind the scenes? Like, why do you want everything to be so public? It's not the public business. We shouldn't even see that. I don't even want to see that. I want to see the actual content that y'all produce, like whatever movie, whatever type of show. I don't want to know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't care to know that. I'm not in that circle. I'm not in that world. I'm not in that secret society. And I don't want to see these people in that light until I have to be behind the scenes with them. And I don't want to hear like one-sided instances. I want to hear the truth. Like, what did you do to make this person respond to you the way that they did? And what did they do in response to what you did? Not, they did me like this, woe is me, I didn't do nothing. I don't believe that, because from the way that it sounds, some of these egos are getting in the way. Like, I'll get into that later. So she said Oprah agreed with her behind the scenes for not doing the promo tour for Precious for free. But she got mad at Oprah for not saying it publicly. My thing is, once again, someone told you something in confidence, and yet again she's putting them on blast in public. Like, did you tell Oprah you were going to spill this tea publicly? Did you ask Oprah, could you say what she said to you publicly? Like, you can't get mad because this woman didn't know you was going to do this. She's speaking to you privately in her own personal time, personal space. Y'all did not have this conversation publicly. So, just like you said, when you're on stage, you're someone else. And when you off the stage, you someone else. It may be in Oprah's case, when she's behind the scenes, she's someone else. And when she's in front of that camera, she's someone else. It's like she don't mix the two. So you got to respect the fact that first of all, if you didn't ask this woman, could you repeat what she said to the public, then I don't blame her for not standing with you. Anyway, then after that, Monique admitted to recording Tyler without his knowledge so that she could have proof of what he said to her in confidence. So once again, Monique is shady, but I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. He told someone she was problematic. Truth be told, I kind of believe it. Next, Al Sharpton curved her to stand with Tyler. Stephanie Mills tried to set up a meeting with Tyler Perry and Monique, and then she said Kevin Hart curved her after talking to Tyler. Mind you, she's still throwing new people under the bus. Like, why did you bring up Al Sharpton? How do you know this man want us to know that he was intending on helping you, but then changed his mind when Tyler Perry got him on a jet ride or whatever like that, a private flight or whatever. And then you threw Stephanie Mills. How do you know she wanted us to know that she tried to help you? Then you do the same thing to Kevin Hart. How do you know he wanted us to know that he gave you money and he was willing to help you, and then he curved you? It seems like to me these people got to the point where they were able to hear both sides. Like, if you're the only one saying what happened and they listening to you and siding with you and hearing your perspective, and then they go to talk to the other party involved and they give them their perception, and it's like, okay, I get it now. And then they think about how you truly are. Like, she is aggressive. She do be, being problematic and start a mess. Even when we tried to calm her down, she still was egging it on. And at the time, like I said, you was 4 years strong in your basement going in on these people. So, but once again, you throwing these people in the mix who did not know they were going to be a part of this conversation. They did not know that what they were saying to you in confidence was going to end up being public knowledge. So that in itself, to me, will make me feel like, yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with her either. So anyway, we get into the fact that Tyler Perry wants an apology. However, Monique can't seem to figure out why. For the same thing you claim he did to you. Said he started a rumor of you being problematic. Meanwhile, she went on a 4-year rant dragging him for filth. Doesn't the pendulum swing both ways? You went on a hate campaign and tried to defame him too, based on something that was allegedly said in private. And then you recorded him without his knowledge, apologizing to you in private. So yes, he is due an apology too. Like I said, you said he started a rumor on you and you need an apology. He needs an apology too, because you went on a defaming tour. Even after he apologized, because you said you had him on recordings apologizing to you for all what he did or all what he said. Then she turned right around and said Tyler never apologized, but he did, and you claim to have the secret recording. Like I said, this is delusional. Anyway, Oprah isn't about to apologize for telling her something in private that Monique took upon herself to make public. Once again, that is messy. I'm just going down my notes. Like she's saying, she wants an apology from Oprah as well. But why should Oprah apologize? It's like you're the one betraying her, because she said something to you in confidence and you made it public knowledge. You took it upon yourself to make it public knowledge. To me, that is messy. If I'm telling you something in secret, why are you constantly making it public on Mad Day? Anyway, I think Lee Daniels only apologized because he was tired of Monique dragging him day in and day out. He also probably felt he was wrong for asking her to do that precious promo tour for free. But it's understandable that in the beginning he probably could not have paid her, because like she said, she only got paid like $50,000 to do that movie. It seems like Lee Daniels didn't have that much of a budget. They didn't know how that movie was going to do, but later found out that the movie did really, really good. And now he has to thank Monique, regardless of whatever was going on between them. He has to thank her for that success, because she was the starring person in this movie. So I feel like, in hindsight, he probably, felt bad for asking her and being on the status level that she is with all these Grammys and Academies and Oscars and stuff like that, that he shouldn't have been trying to ask her to do no promo for free. But anyway, I don't understand why she doesn't see where she is wrong. Both parties can be wrong at the same time. It's like respect people's privacy. Monique, especially if you want the same in return. You didn't want people to know publicly that you're hard to work with. Tyler doesn't want people to know that he said in what he said in private that you're hard to work with. Oprah then wanted to become public knowledge that she agreed with your decision to not to do the free press tour or precious tour. She never knew or agreed to say anything on your behalf publicly. Haven't she heard there is no friend in the industry? Haven't she heard that it's a secret society, not a public one? Monique went on to say that people need to be glad she got a husband on her side, because people know wherever they act up is where she shows up. Meaning she be out here acting a fool with these people, proving she is problematic and will get violent if need be, even with the president of the studios, like she literally starts telling on herself. Then threw TX in the mix and under the bus. So she brought up T.S. Madison and what T.S. Madison had said about, hearing the audio of Tyler Perry, and got T.S. all in the mix and all in the mess too. And then next, her and Oprah been supposedly battling for the same role behind the scenes. So she also said Oprah had her family on the show to drag Monique. But my thing is, why would Monique be mad at that? Didn't she say earlier, if it's your story and it's the truth, tell it? Can't walk around intimidated, scared, fearful. Either way, she makes it seem like her and Oprah got beef because of roles and because they're both black and fat. Ultimately, her and Oprah are on the same level in her mind. Then made it seem like Oprah paid to get certain roles, even paid for production to be in these movies. Like, that don't even make no sense. But anyway, then she threw more shots at Oprah with the Costco reference, insinuating she would have hemmed Oprah up in the break room, but she doesn't condone violence, remember? But she would have him. If they worked at Costco, she would have got Oprah in that break room at the register. Then she claimed Oprah called her before bringing the pedo brother on the show. However, she didn't tell Monique she was bringing the whole family. But now I'm wondering, did the family volunteer themselves? And if she even reached out to Oprah to get clarity behind the scenes, because the family could have wanted to sling dirt since everyone is so estranged and clearly there's beef. So anyway, if she thought Oprah betrayed her all of those years ago, what made her think Oprah was going to stick beside her in the Precious promo debacle? And why, after seeing the promo of the show of the pedo brother and why after seeing the promo of the show and the pedo brother being the guest, and after seeing her mama them in the promo, why didn't she call Oprah then to have it cut? Once again, I'm confused, because Oprah can call you, but you can't call Oprah. Notice how when she brought up Barbara Walters, she said her family called her first. So Barbara Walters told her family, Monique's family, had called her Barbara. So once again, like I said, like I said, how do we know the family didn't volunteer themselves? Clearly they had been calling around to get on someone's show to drag Monique. So how can she blame Oprah and not blame the family? It's like, your family seemed like they were the ones reaching out. Like, Oprah may have reached out to your brother, but the rest of the family seemed like they were volunteering themselves to come throw you under the bus, sweetie. Then she went on to throw D.L. Hughley private life under the bus, all because of this weird game this family wanted to play. Now, why did the public need to know this? We know Hollywood is full of Holly weirdos, but why would anyone ever want her around or in their circle? She said D.L. Hughley had been dragging her for years in interviews prior to her coming to his home to do this podcast and to chill for this after party. My question is, this man has been dragging you. Why were you there to work with him, let alone party with him at his house? It's like she knows people don't like her, but will still be in their mix just to get some ish popping so she can play victim. Then she went on to say on her show and radio show, they never spoke ill of no one. But this whole interview with Shannon, she was throwing everybody under the bus. This is kind of hard to watch and be sympathetic at the same time. Like Shannon said, sometimes the monster you despise, you end up becoming. She's giving that type of tea. Who was the white man she was talking about? Remember, she brought up, we sit in front of this white man and tell him blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not sure who she was talking about, but it felt like she was talking about Vlad TV. But notice how she didn't mention this man's name. But all these color people of color, she didn't have a problem mentioning their names. See, that's what I'm saying. All of these white people she's protecting, but all of these black people, she is purposefully throwing under the bus. And then she went on to throw the Oscars under the bus too. When all this time you've been using this Oscar to demand your respect, now Oscar don't mean nothing because it was from white people, for white people. She need to stop sucking a bottle on these interviews for real, because it's like so contradictory. It's so back and forth, flip-floppy. Once again, she mentions Oprah as her role model, and the Image Awards mean more to her than the Oscar, yet she barely references it. Now, she also went into, like, he asked her, how did she end up in comedies, doing stand-up comedies? She said it was a dare. And that's why I realized, and like, I'm like, how don't you realize that you and Oprah are not the same? Oprah actually went to school. She went to college to be a journalist. You get what I'm saying? And you end up in comedy on a dare. So yeah, y'all not the same. And then she went on to talk about the Parkers and how she was naive and how they underpaid her and Countess Vaughn. How did that happen? Is my question. When you had agents, you had managers, you had lawyers in tow, and why didn't you do your own research before getting into the game? Like, why not invest in going to acting school? Maybe that's why some of your counterparts get paid more, because they didn't fall into the craft on a dare, but actually went to school. I'm just saying, maybe they educated themselves. They learned the business before they just, jumped in face first. And then she was like, they only got paid $55,000 per episode when she was on the Parkers. And it's like, I was thinking about that, like, dang, that is crazy, because some reality personalities make more than that. Like, they making $1 million, an episode. So $55,000, yeah, that was a tiny amount for you to be a paid actress. But that's why I was saying educating yourself is key. Then also, why didn't y'all sue those producers of the Parkers for y'all money? You said they were making like $2 billion up until 2024. Y'all should be suing. Like, instead of wasting your time dragging Oprah and Tyler, why don't you invest your time in suing for your royalties off of the Parkers? Anyway, after listening to her talk and Shannon asking her what she really wanted from Tyler, and to me it sounds like she wants Tyler to give her $24 million for telling David Talbert she was problematic. And I'm like, what is wrong with her? He didn't even want to pay her to do the Precious promo tour. Now, why Tyler and Oprah is so involved in this Precious situation is because they were the producers of that movie. So, and they were trying to encourage her to go do this Precious promo tour for free. Now, anyway, so Tyler had told her back then he wasn't finna pay her for nothing. Like, doing a tour is nothing. That's not work to promote your own movie. So he told her back then. So I'm like, why do you think he finna pay you now? Because you thinking that he told somebody a rumor or started a rumor with another producer, and it cost you 10 years and $24 million. That rumor did. So, and then I was like, wonder how much she wants from Oprah. Sounds like this is a little blackmailish. Then she commenced to bring up how in Baltimore they handle people over $25. But Tyler owes her $24 million. So she ain't let nothing go. Sounds threatish from someone who doesn't condone violence. I still want to know why didn't she turn her basement into her own comedy studio and produce her own stand-up shows while she was on the pity bus for 4 years, dragging Oprah, Tyler, and Lee Daniels? She still could have made her money instead of blaming Tyler and Netflix. She could have done YouTube specials, but I digress. Bringing up the bonnets and pajamas, referring to my fellow Mississippians, of course, rubbed me the wrong way. Again, because Mississippi supported her when everyone else turned on her. So instead of being grateful, she took the opportunity to drag and then show up the next video naked in a terry cloth robe with her boobs about to pop out and all that gray hair that needed dye or a bonnet in front of a YouTube audience of millions. Like, make it make sense. We have to show up for the airport and grocery shopping fully dressed for a few people from our neighborhood to see us, but you showed up for millions to see you looking a mess on your YouTube. So that's why I say she just dragged the people who supported her when no one else did. This is so shysty to me, and that's why I'm no longer really a supporter of Monique, because even though you was going through all that, you had got blackballed, and Mississippi welcomed you. Jackson, Mississippi welcomed you when nobody was thinking about you, and you took that opportunity to talk about how the black people showed up and was looking, specifically black fat women. Oh, they in their pajamas at the airport, in their pajamas at the grocery store with bonnets on. Okay, and that's just a thing of the South. We not dressing up all the time, putting on heels and all of this just to go hit up the grocery store. And people can wear what they want to fly in. Some people choose to wear sweatsuits. Some people choose to wear pajamas, especially if you got to get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Who finna get up with a beat face, putting on a two-piece suit just to get on a plane? Like, let people do what they want to do. It's not your place. You don't understand the culture down there. You from Baltimore. That's a Mississippi culture. So leave us alone. We didn't show up looking like that to see you at your comedy show. Talk about how we showed up for that. Because I know people in Mississippi, we dress to the T and we have that hair to the T and that face beat. Anytime it's time for us to show up. Going to the airport, that's not showing up for anything. Going to the grocery store, that's nothing to us. But when it's time for us to show up and show out, that's exactly what we do. So can you run some footage of how we showed up for your comedy show? Anyway, let's be clear, shawty. So her husband had to teach her to be a lady because clearly she was problematic and hard to work with, perhaps. And the past husbands were docile and obedient. So that means you running all over these men. But for some reason, this particular husband wasn't having none of that. Then, through Tiffany, had some shade. Because Tiffany said somewhere that she doesn't do business like Monique. And she's glad she doesn't have a husband like hers. Monique said if she had a husband like mine, she probably wouldn't have 2 DUIs or be caught up in a situation where it looks like you could be grooming a child. Or situations that you can't explain the next day. If that ain't shade. But Tiffany Haddish didn't, she didn't have to speak on that woman's husband or even bring Monique up. So for that, you really can't tell her how to respond. Now Tiffany threw those shots publicly, and obviously Monique threw them shots back. So that part I don't really blame her for, but at the same time, in this interview, Tiffany really didn't have to be brought up. Then Monique went on to say the Moesha role she didn't audition because of that Oscar she doesn't care about, but uses it when she doesn't want to audition for roles. She would be devalued if she was asked to audition. she's offer only. It's like I done heard so many people that's been in this business still having to audition. If you are confident in your craft, then it should be nothing to have to audition. Like, you got this in the bag. Do the thing. Do your thing. Show them. Because sometimes it's like I said, well, we'll get into that later, but I feel like some of these roles she does need to audition. Anyway, she said we lose ourselves in the possibilities, but claimed she was blackballed for 10 years with no money coming in. So how ironic is that? But her soul wouldn't let her give in. It's like she's saying we lose ourselves in the possibilities, meaning we don't want to say nothing about what's going on, and we don't want to lose the possibilities of being able to get this role, that role. So we hush and be quiet. But you were blackballed for 10 years not doing anything, so you lost all these possibilities. However, your soul wouldn't let you give in. Like, I wouldn't have been sitting there for 10 years dragging the same 3 people when I could be making my own content and keeping my own, gifts and talents out there. You know what I'm saying? We got a camera instead of sitting here year after year after year after year talking about these same people. I would have been pen and pad. Let me write some sketches. Let me write some skits. Let me do some comedy. I could do my own stand-up comedy from my basement. All I need is a backdrop and a mic and a camera. Okay? So the next thing she said, why did she want to be famous? And her response was because she was a fat black girl that always had to fight for attention, never picked for this or for that. So that's interesting. You only wanted to be famous because you was fat. It would seem like someone would say, I want to be famous because I'm talented, I have a lot to show the world, but your response was because you was a fat black girl that had to fight for attention and never was picked. So you only want to be famous so that you can show everybody that you made it and to be problematic. She wanted the world to know her. Know you for what? Being fat and black? I'm confused about that. But anyway, she said she has a strained relationship with her oldest son. And to me, the pattern here is her relationship with people is trash. From her son, her mama, her brothers, her siblings, her friends, her co-workers. And then she admitted, even her husband, because she admitted she was out of line until she got with her now husband. Once again, admitting to being problematic. She said, I was out of line and out of order until she got with this now husband. And this now husband has been her friend since high school. So he has been catching it from her as being a friend and then going into being her husband. So notice how she said she had the mentality of you can't correct me, can't say nothing to me, can't check me, and you can't do none of that. Even though she was famous, had money, and had made a name for herself. So doesn't that mean she was problematic and hard to work with in the industry? Those were her words, not mine. Once again, she said she had the mentality of you can't correct me, can't say nothing to me, you can't check me, you can't do none of that. So, yeah, that was her mentality. But she said early on, she wasn't problematic. Tyler Perry was lying on her. So anyway, Queens of Comedy, she put some more business out there. Then dragged the production for not having limos for them like they did the Kings of Comedy. But also said she initially wasn't the headliner. Simone gave her that spot. But Monique soon thereafter had demands. And she had to be problematic and hard to work with because she had to get the producers together. Remember, she said I had to get those producers together too. on the Queens of Comedy that you barely got your foot in on. You barely. It's like, girl, we didn't hear some more saying she was gathering them up. We heard you say you gathered them up. You wanted a limo because Steve Harvey them had limos. You see what I'm saying? Like, these people were pretty much telling you not the same. Y'all, it's not the same. Anyway, so how Precious made her an Academy Award winning actress. How did the movie Precious make you an award winning actress playing a fat, nasty, lazy, disgusting black woman in a nightgown? What was so great about the acting? But she explains how Lionsgate wanted her to promote the movie for free. Then Tyler wanted her to promote it for free too. Him and Oprah produced Precious. Oprah privately agreed with Monique about not promoting the movie for free. She said Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey tried to turn her into a slave behind the Precious movie promo tour she was supposed to do for free. So she pretty much saying they wanted her to be a slave out here promoting that movie that she got all of these accolades for, the acting. And then she said the only person who can say she was hard to work with was some producer, William Packer, on this special called Almost Christmas, wanted her to do a cameo. The director was David Talbert. Now, keep in mind, David Talbert is the one that Tyler Perry was supposed to have told that Monique was hard to work with. Now, in this part, she says that David Talbert was her husband's roommate in college. So, if that's your husband's roommate, they go way back. And he don't have to listen to what Tyler Perry say. He could have asked your husband. But anyway, she said that William Packer promised her a 3-picture deal and a sitcom. And this was all in writing, as long as she did this little cameo. Then she said they kept spreading the character out to other scenes. Then she said other things transpired. They supposedly disrespected the black director. So now Monique and Will Packer have beef on set. Once again, Monique gets mad because William disrespected David. Because David is the director, remember? So Monique bucks up to William. Okay, so Will and Monique and William's assistant have a disagreement about Monique's assistant having his shoes off in her dressing room. So Will's assistant, now after this transpires with Monique getting mad at Will, who is the producer, who said something to the director, and Monique put her 2 cents in it and takes up for the director, which is her husband's ex-roommate from college, who is also the same dude that Tyler Perry supposedly told that Monique was hard to work with. She takes up for him, going against William for trying to give him direction, and he's the director. So William then sends his assistant into Monique's dressing room, where she's asking, why does your assistant have their shoes off in your dressing room? So I don't know if that just was a messy situation that Monique decided to put her 2 cents in. But once again, she's the culprit in this situation. Then she went on to say the food was slop. When trying to make this little cameo appearance, the food was slop. And then somehow or another, the trailers blew up while she was on set. But Monique said she had smelled the gas and told someone to tell William Packer. After the trailers blew up, the producer was only concerned about the wigs. So it was like somebody purposely it's just the way that it came off to me. But it's like somebody purposely blew those trailers up. Probably because of all of this back and forth, all of this messiness that could have been avoided. It's like, if I'm here to do a cameo, I'm not finna tell this producer how to be talking to the director. I'm not finna be telling the director blah blah blah, and I'm not finna be getting all comfortable and I'm just here for a cameo. Like, my assistant's not finna be coming in no dressing room getting all undressed and laid all out, no shoes off, none of that. Like, this ain't our movie. We just here doing a cameo. This is like a promotion for my own brand. So this ain't even our thing. So we not finna get comfortable. But since she got the big head like she on Oprah level, then that's probably why she be doing all of that. So anyway, she says she wants Tyler and Oprah to be accountable, and she wants compensation and an apology. She shared things with Oprah about her family and what they were going through. They ended the interview by inviting Tyler and Oprah. Told Oprah business again, talking about she likes cranberry and vodka. Like, once again, you telling Oprah business. We didn't need to know that Oprah likes to drink vodka and cranberry juice. Like, I don't like how she keep throwing all of this private stuff about people out to the public. Like, we don't need to see these people in this light. And no, not because they my heroes. It's because what's private should stay private, and what public should be public. And the only thing that really needs to be public is what you got going on in your career. What are you promoting? How did you get there? How did the auditions go? How was it filming? Stuff like that. All this private business stuff where y'all got personal beef should not be public knowledge. Y'all should be handling that behind the scenes. So I think it's very sloppy. I think that some of these people need to be making Monique sign NDAs if they really want to deal with her. Because I couldn't, And then it went into Shannon asking about how did her pedo brother, messing with her, how did it affect her as far as relationships and in life. And she was like, it basically turned her into an almost whore. It made her, I'm assuming, a fighter, because she put up her dukes again when she was explaining. And then she said it made her want to get you before you can get her, which was kind of confusing. So yeah, what does that really mean? Like, she should have explained that a little bit further. It makes you want to get them before they can get you. Okay. So her husband eventually told her she used her brother taking advantage of her as a crutch for her bad behavior. So once again, admitting that she is a problematic person. He supposedly made her accountable, the husband. She did say she had to come to grip with the fact that she is a boss, independent and empowered. She said she runs this, then claimed she went to the Oprah Winfrey University of Empowerment and didn't need a man to make it, until she realized she was going to bed empty. But she didn't want to be the poor little rich girl who had everything but nothing at all. Once again, shots fired at Oprah. That was pure shade. She then admitted to being a whore, but husband told her she just had a friendly box. Then she spoke about her and her father's dynamic. She claimed they were good when she was little, but when she grew up and started asking him about his choices, she became the bad person. Also said her mom and dad were mentally abusive to one another. She said that when her dad didn't co-sign for her a car but turned around and signed for the sister one, she claimed her grandma told her that every parent knows their weakest link and they know who is going to be okay. She said in order to break generational karma is with truth. Address the truth, deal in absolute truth. Then she spoke on Netflix, said they offer one thing But she found out that they gave someone else 20 times more than what they offered her. Then she threw Wanda Sykes in the mix, saying that Wanda supported her but chose to go somewhere else. Meaning, Wanda was saying like, yeah, when Netflix offered her a low number, she decided to go somewhere else. And Monique claims she didn't know how to do that. If it's wrong, we keep going somewhere else, we will keep getting mistreated. And in her mind, she thinks she's a legend and an icon. So they don't need to be throwing her these low numbers. And she's going to stick around and fight to the end until they give her what a legend and an icon deserves. So once again, why did you throw Wanda in that? She didn't have anything to do with it. It's like, okay, Netflix gave you a low number and you found out that they paying someone with less qualification, less accolades, 20 times more than you, of a whole different skin color. Then that's all you had to say. You get what I'm saying? You didn't have to throw Wanda. Well, Wanda said she supported me and she would have went somewhere else. Like, why do you keep throwing all of these people, and when they speak to you in confidence, you bringing it to the public? Anyway, she spoke on the settlement and that she did do the next Netflix special. So my question to the people that's listening, did y'all go see this special? Was it good? And did y'all laugh? Because I ain't even know it was no special. And she admitted that she likes the title auntie. And she liked when her supporters call her auntie. Then she spoke on some lady named Sylvia Traymore Morrison, who got paid in a Coca-Cola and a $5 bill. That was the first black woman to write for Saturday Night Live. But they have her listed as a production assistant, and she is still alive. Monique says she would not let them wash this lady out of history. So my thought on that is, since you're bringing her up, are you going to help her fight for the money that she is due for writing for Saturday Night Live? Because Coca-Cola ain't it. Like a bottle of Coca-Cola? No. And then Shannon, like, you using this woman's name and all of this, but what are you doing to help her get to her bag? And then Shannon asked her about dating on behalf of young ladies, and she told Shannon that he needed a fat older woman. Now to me, it seemed like, are you throwing hints or trying to flirt with this man? Because we see your husband and come with you on this particular interview. She said women have been trained to go against black men, conditioned to go against black men. Said we have watched our mamas and aunties and grandmamas speak ill of black men. So when a black man comes along and he's good, women are waiting on the bad. So my thoughts on this is that I disagree that women are raised around. Hold on. I disagree. The women I was raised around, I never saw any fighting, nor did I ever hear them speak ill of their men. The couples that were married set a very positive and encouraging example. There was no disrespect, no infidelity. They all seemed to be deep in love. So she can only speak for her reality, because all women weren't trained to disrespect men. However, some men grew up seeing the men in their lives disrespect women. So they grew up with that same mentality and forced some of the women to look at men differently, especially when they get disrespected by them. Then this conversation got on Shaq, and he said men shouldn't open up to a woman because the woman will eventually use it against him. Well, she first replied, who listens to a man that has no woman? Then she said she doesn't agree with what he said because you're supposed to talk to your significant other, otherwise you're causing division. Now I agree with her, and I also have known women to open up to their man and he then used what she said to him against her. It works both ways. But I think it goes back to men who want to battle women. because of their own traumas from their childhood, stemming from their own mothers or past relationships, or some of it is immaturity. Men don't want to man up, want to be coddled, want everything their way, but by their rules and demands instead of true partnership. Then she threw Oprah back in the loop, bringing up that she heard Oprah say that when she was going through it after a show, she would call Gail and Gail could calm her down and put her to sleep. Monique was like, where is Stephanie? Monique claimed that she would also box her first husband. Second husband, she couldn't afford to pay her rent and she didn't want a boyfriend. Now, I was confused about that too. The second husband statement. You couldn't pay your rent and you didn't want a boyfriend. Are you saying he couldn't pay your rent and you didn't want to get a boyfriend on the side while you still married? I'm confused. But the third marriage is the first time she ever truly been married for real. I was lost on that nonsense of that whole statement. So, my overall thoughts about this entire interview. Like I said, I am still a bit confused. There was a lot of contradiction. I feel like she is claiming to be beefing with all these producers and execs because she is doing it for the ones coming behind her. But it feels like she's doing it for herself, for her own bag, because she has all of these accolades and feels like she is on the same level as Oprah and has a big head and feel like she deserves to be treated as such. But me personally, although I'm not taking anything away from her success, I just personally feel that she is not that great of a comedian or actress. And that's why these producers are not bowing down to her and not treating her like royalty behind the scenes. It's like she has made it by luck and consistency, not by her phenomenal acting skills or by some phenomenal stand-up gig she has done. Clearly some more should have the crown. Monique barely makes me smile when she's on stage. Now, who could have played the mama in Precious? Who couldn't have played the mama that was in Precious? That role didn't require much. That role didn't require much. Just be in a nightgown, looking fat and nasty, cussing out your daughter, and throwing dishes at her, all while sharing the same man. Then she claims she shouldn't have to audition for movies or shows, but all we seen her doing movies or shows is be the exact same character, just a different name. I haven't seen her switch it up yet, except for Precious. And that was not that big of a role, hard of a push to pull off. Anyway, I don't know whether she is actually helping the situation or making it harder for herself and the ones coming up behind her. She could be making it harder for the plus size black woman as well, because they may feel that the plus size black woman may be another Monique who is going to spill all of the tea that goes on the inside in private or in confidence. She is going to be problematic, uncontrollable, sneaky, and then turn around and tell her fans she did nothing just being ganged up on and is ill-treated. And why didn't she have any up-and-coming movie roles, TV show roles, or comedy specials to promote after she did this interview? It's just so much delusion in this whole situation. And like I said before, if your talent is so great, then you should have been able to stand alone and produce content for your fan base with or without big names standing behind you. In this age of YouTube, Rumble, and various other platforms where you can showcase talent, there is no way she should have been without work for 10 years, blackballed or not. Anyway, let me know what y'all think down in the comments about this interview. And with that being said, we have come to the end of this chat session. I hope you have been inspired, informed, or entertained. Be sure to check us out on our other platforms that are listed on our channel description. Be sure to click the notification button to be notified of our upcoming chat sessions. Share our podcast with a friend of a friend. And with that being said, thanks so much for all of your time and energy and support. I look forward to the next one. Peace and love, and as always, be blissful. Y'all, I almost forgot that I was supposed to be letting y'all hear DL Hughley's response, so let me go ahead and drop that now.
Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a wait set. And so Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints, I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who, as a comedian, talks as much shit about everybody else as she does, she has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that, because Monique is a liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says DL Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was, and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying motherfucker. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies are with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she just spends as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people. Except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she goes, shit starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody with you, not even your family? How do you, I was on the road, get it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
DJ Mike CC on the track.
Cause that be natural.
Lady D.
Ain't looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm so nappy. Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
Ain't looking tacky. Cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so faboo, I'm so natural, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo, cooking these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Y'all is jersey on that cartoon, and I'm sitting on top of these buffaloes. I'm so nappy, I'm so nappy. All these dudes that wanna get at me, I'm so cultured and I'm happy. Jealous switches wanna come back me, cause I'm comfortable in my skin. End of the day, you lose, I win. I'm so comfortable in my ends, don't care if I make or lose a few friends, and I look like $1 trillion. Lady, he won a lotto, cause in the Lord I trust. And beauty is the motto. Naturally thick in the butt, I'm Billy